What is up, everybody? What's up? Welcome to the first collaboration between the Legal Hands to the Face show and JAKIB Sports. This is the first time our show is being live streamed here on the JAKIB Sports Network. For those of you who know me already, welcome to JAKIB Sports. For those of you who don't, I am Bill Colarulo. I'm going to be coming to you guys every Monday night here live on the JAKIB Sports Network at 6:30. All I do is talk Eagles, so we're going to be breaking down all things Philadelphia Eagles. In addition to having this live show on Monday nights, I also post daily content to all our social media channels, so be sure to check out Legal Hands to the Face on all your favorite social media platforms. The Eagles are 1-0, and the joy and excitement stops there. I've been hearing from a lot of fans all day. It's only week one. Let's not get too frustrated. A win is a win. I agree with all of it. It is not easy to win in the NFL. Nick Sirianni said it after the game. Jalen Hurts said it after the game. But just like these coaches aren't going to just say, hey, it was week one. We're not going to say as fans, it was just week one, because there was a lot that needs to be cleaned up. We are not the Detroit Lions just hoping to have a good season this year and build off of last year. We are a Super Bowl contender, and we did not look like a Super Bowl contender yesterday in New England. And the reason I am frustrated is not only what happened in the game, but what happened all summer and training camp leading up to this game. We have been pounding on the table since they let TJ Edwards walk. Since they let Kazir White walk, I have been saying it all summer long. They needed to do something at the linebacker position. The only move they make in the offseason is bringing in Nicholas Morrow. We knew they didn't have confidence in Nicholas Morrow when they signed him to a one-year deal with no guaranteed money. And then they showed us they didn't have confidence in Nicholas Morrow when they brought on Myles Jack and Zach Cunningham about a month ago. And those guys, there's a reason they were still available. And what happens with Myles Jack? He retires a week after they bring him in. So now we go into this game. They cut Nicholas Morrow. We put all of our hopes at that linebacker position on the Kobe Dean, a guy who's played 34 snaps in the NFL. 34 snaps. He makes it through a half of football, and now he is out multiple weeks with a foot injury. And you saw why Zach Cunningham was still available that late into this offseason. He didn't play horrible, but he is not going to be a guy that can carry this defense. And Bill O'Brien and Bill Belichick are too good of coaches. You saw, what did they exploit on Sunday? They took advantage of the middle of the field. They went right after our linebackers, right after our safeties, another position that we've been screaming about all summer long. Our starting safety next to Reed Blankenship was Justin Evans. Very promising coming out of college a few years ago. Tampa takes him in the second round, but he's had the injury bug, was out of football in 2021, played up and down last year for the New Orleans Saints, and he is starting on this Super Bowl contending Philadelphia Eagles team. And I see you guys in the chat. I appreciate you all being here. Give us a like. Give us a subscribe. Feel free to engage. I see Eagles fan Kylie Caperton saying she's not happy with the offense. Either am I, and we are going to get there. We are going to get there. But I am frustrated with the personnel going into this season when all of us were calling for that linebacker position and that safety position to be better before week one. It was sloppy. I'm happy. Not only do they win on the road, not only do they beat the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick, they do go to 1-0, and we're coming back home Thursday against Minnesota. We're going to break that down later in the show. We also have a special guest coming on later in the show, Dr. Chris Radcliffe. This guy, Harvard-trained, Duke Medical School, orthopedic surgeon, used to work for the Philadelphia Eagles. I want to talk to him about how long is Nakobe Dean out. Because what do the Philadelphia Eagles have to do today? They have to sign their third veteran linebacker in the last month in hopes that he can fill the position. I'm assuming they're going to bring Nicholas Morrow off the practice squad, and he's going to play on Thursday night. But the Eagles signed Rashaan Evans 27 years old. He's 6'2", 232, was a first-round pick in 2018 of the Tennessee Titans. He went to Alabama, bringing another Alabama player. The Titans declined his fifth-year option last year. He signed a one-year deal with the Atlanta Falcons. He did start all 17 games. He played over 560 snaps, so he has experience, had a ton of tackles for that Falcons team, but that was a bad Falcons team. Doesn't get brought on any team this year. He was on the Tennessee Titans practice squad, and the Eagles were able to sign him away. So we will see. Hey, Barbara Carroll, thanks for tuning in. I've seen you. If you guys follow JAKIB Sports, if you're subscribed to JAKIB Sports, I've been co-hosting some shows, Birds 365, Sports Take. I've been on with Farzy, and Barbara Carroll's always there. So what's up, Barbara? But that's one thing that frustrated me was the personnel. But the other thing that was frustrating was the decision not to play these starters in the preseason. And if you listen to Nick Sirianni post-game, he admitted it. I got to give him credit. He admitted it after the game that he is going to rethink that next offseason because the team looked rusty. Not only did the team look rusty, but our star quarterback, and let me get this out of the way, I am a huge Jalen Hurts fan. I have been high on Jalen Hurts since he came into this league, but he did not look good last night. He did not look like the MVP caliber quarterback that I know that he is. He was clearly rusty. Now, I understand the reason they're not playing him in the preseason, the reason they're not playing these people, these other starters in the preseason, is because they want to keep him healthy. But as coaches, as Nick Sirianni, the head coach of this team, you have to have your finger on the pulse. You have to know how your team is. And are they ready? They were not ready. This team needed to play at least a few series in the preseason. They didn't do it, and it showed yesterday. Now, they escaped with the win. Thank God they escaped with that win. But Jalen Hurts did not look good. I went back and watched the game again today, and as bad as the play calling was, which we'll get into in a second, Jalen Hurts was missing open receivers. He was making the wrong reads. That was clearly rust. There was a play in the second quarter. It was 3rd and 3 from midfield. They called a run-pass option. Dallas Goedert's at the top of the screen. Jalen Hurts is supposed to read the defensive end to see if he's going to crash down. If he does, Jalen Hurts pulls it. He has the opportunity to run it outside or throw the ball to Dallas Goedert. Jalen Hurts, being rusty, he made the decision before the ball was even snapped that he was going to give it to Kenny Gainwell, because if you watch the replay, second quarter, 3rd and 3 from the 50, the entire left side of the New England Patriots defense crashes down on Kenny Gainwell. If Jalen Hurts pulls that ball, Dallas Goedert was wide open. In fact, at the end of the play, Goedert is jumping up and down because he was so wide open, he would have walked 50 yards for a touchdown. But that's what was missing yesterday. Jalen Hurts' ability to read defenses, something that he had gotten so good at last year, being able to run that read option, being able to read the defenses. He couldn't do it yesterday. And look, I don't want to take anything away from Bill Belichick. He's one of the best coaches in the NFL, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And what they ran yesterday, it's got me concerned that other teams are going to try to replicate it. They had a very soft zone. They kept all the receivers in front of them. They really didn't come and attack Jalen Hurts. They kind of sat back at the snap of the ball and read what he was going to do and made it very, very difficult. The Eagles were able to win this game because of the turnover battle. You look at NFL games, turnovers is what's going to dictate most games. And thankfully, the defense did show up when they had to. Big play Slay with a pick six. Great return by Darius Slay. And then my man, Jordan Davis, I have been saying it all summer long that I was ecstatic to see a healthy year for Jordan Davis this year. I think that lower leg injury last year on a big guy like Jordan Davis really affected him all season long. This is going to be a great season for Jordan Davis. I think he's motivated by the addition of Jalen Carter. And let's talk about some positives here. The interior of that Philadelphia Eagles defensive line with Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, Fletcher Cox, and Milton Williams, they look like they are absolutely stacked, and we are not going to miss Javon Hargrave at all on that interior. They did a great job against Ezekiel Elliott, Ramondre Stevenson, and that New England Patriots running game. But we'll talk about that as well. And then John DaVinci, spot on. Jake Elliott, another positive in this game. Thank God we have Jake Elliott. I mean, we almost take it for granted what that guy's able to do. He did miss that extra point. It was a bad hold by Sippis, but 4 for 4 on field goals, over 50 yards. It was the reason they won this game is you have a field goal kicker like Jake Elliott. If anybody's a golfer out there too, Jake Elliott is a stud golfer. Doesn't surprise me because he's so damn good with kicking the ball, similar motion, but that guy is a stud golfer as well. But thank God we have him. But I'm going to get into it. I see some questions in there. Am I going to be on here every day? I will be here every Monday. But if you like what you're hearing, I post daily content to our social media channels. You can check us out on Instagram, TikTok, here on YouTube or Facebook, Twitter, Legal Hands to the Face. Check us out everywhere. We are live streaming right now, not only on the JAKIB Sports Network on YouTube, we're also on Legal Hands to the Face on Facebook. So wherever you guys are listening, I appreciate the support. Share, like, the more Eagles fans we could reach, the better. But I want to get into, outside of some of the personnel decisions in the offseason, outside of some of the coaching decisions in the offseason with regard to playing your players in the preseason, I want to talk about something that really pissed me off yesterday with this coaching staff, and that was the special teams. And I'm not even talking about the play of the special teams. We can talk about the fact that they finished bottom 3 in kick returns against last year, bottom 2 in net punting yards last year, and they still brought back Michael Clay as the special teams coordinator. But what I'm talking about is having to burn 2 timeouts on special teams because you don't have the correct personnel on the field. That is unacceptable. If you've played high school football, college football, and we're talking about the NFL here, even in high school, on third down, not fourth down, on third down, they yell on the sidelines, punt team ready, field goal team ready. Everybody comes over to that coach and they count all 11 guys and they make sure they have the correct personnel on third down so that when fourth down comes, they run out onto the field and you don't have to burn a timeout. And Michael Clay and that special teams unit had to burn 2 timeouts. Eagles get away with it. But when you're going to be playing better teams in this league, and we have aspirations of winning a Super Bowl, you cannot be burning timeouts early in the game because you simply can't get the right personnel on the special teams. That was frustrating to me. And then let's also look at that game plan on offense. I know we lose Shane Steichen. He was a great play caller. You saw it all last season. One of the best things about Shane Steichen was if Jalen Hurts was struggling early, he was able to call plays to get Jalen Hurts in a rhythm. He was able to call short passes, get Jalen Hurts going in the game. You saw absolutely no rhythm at all in yesterday's play calling. Now, it's very difficult to say how much of that was Brian Johnson and how much of that was simply Jalen Hurts wasn't running the plays properly, because we did see him miss a lot of open receivers and a lot of bad reads. But I just didn't like the game plan. You come out and you give the ball to Kenny Gainwell 8 times on the first drive. All offseason, when they let Miles Sanders walk, we were ecstatic. They bring in DeAndre Swift. This is a guy that was going to add a whole other element to this offense, the ability to catch the ball out of the backfield. The entire Eagles backfield last year had 48 catches. DeAndre Swift himself had 48 catches in Detroit. And we saw it week 1 last year against the Eagles, how talented he could be with the ball in his hands. So what did the Eagles do on a sloppy field when short passing game is the way to go? They give DeAndre Swift 2 touches. He gets 1 carry and 1 pass reception. He only played 19 snaps yesterday. 19 snaps for your big free agent, or excuse me, he wasn't a free agent. They made a draft day trade to get him from Detroit, and he gets 19 snaps. I just didn't understand the game plan. You also don't dress Rashad Penny. Now, I was called crazy all offseason because I was saying I thought that there was a chance that Trey Sermon could have beaten out Rashad Penny for that fourth running back spot. Oh, you're crazy. You're crazy. Well, if you're not even going to dress Rashad Penny, how much confidence do the Eagles have in him? And the reason why I don't like not having Rashad Penny or Trey Sermon in the game, what's up, Game Time Flip, is because you have no big running back. You went into this game under sloppy conditions, on the road, week one, knowing that your quarterback was going to be rusty, hasn't played in 7 months in a real game. 7 months. And you don't dress a guy that can run between the tackles. You have Kenny Gainwell, small running back. Boston Scott, tiny running back. DeAndre Swift, small running back. You have to get a big running back. If it's not Rashad Penny and you're not going to dress him every week, well then why'd you let Trey Sermon go? Bring somebody in here who's able to run the football between the tackles. Look, Kenny Gainwell is a good running back. I have a lot of confidence that Kenny Gainwell is going to be a good, solid running back for this team. But you saw it last night. He does not have that Miles Sanders ability to hit a home run every time he touches the ball. Miles Sanders, say what you will, whether you were a fan of his or not, when the guy touched the ball at any given time, he could take it to the house. He averaged 4.9 yards a carry last year. The Eagles yesterday, 3.9 yards rushing. Now, that's not all on Kenny Gainwell. The offensive line yesterday, that is supposed to be one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. And it's not supposed to be. It is one of the best offensive lines in the NFL. You have 2 future Hall of Famers, Jason Kelce, Lane Johnson. You brought back Jordan Mailata. You brought back Pro Bowler Landon Dickerson. And from day one, Cam Jurgens, who replaced Isaac Sayamala, has been your right guard. There was no battle in training camp. They went into this game with Cam Jurgens as your starter all summer. That offensive line did not look good. That offensive line did not look good. Not only running the ball, but in pass protection. Jalen Hurts was under duress pretty much the whole game. I saw a stat today that I had to double check to make sure it was accurate. Lane Johnson gave up 6 quarterback pressures against the New England Patriots. 6 quarterback pressures. That is not like Lane Johnson. And Jordan Mailata, 4 quarterback pressures. Now, Nick Sirianni was asked after the game if he was happy with the way Cam Jurgens played. He said that he was. And I thought Cam Jurgens played okay. I don't think he was the problem. The Philadelphia Eagles just couldn't block on the outside. Now, that New England Patriots defense, they are a good defense. But when your offensive line's not playing well, you can't establish the run. You have a quarterback who is clearly rusty and has no ability to read the defenses and make the right decisions. It's going to be a long day. And that's why it would have been nice to maybe have a big running back that you could at least try to pick up some yardage inside, and they just couldn't do it. And that's not where the questionable decisions stop on this coaching staff. And I want to get into some of the in-game decisions that Nick Sirianni made coming out of the break. But we're going to take our first break. We're going to be with you guys tonight all the way up until game time, Monday Night Football tonight, big game, Buffalo, New York Jets. So we will see how that all goes. But I'll be with you guys until 8 p.m. So stay tuned. Be sure to like, follow, share. Let's get some Eagles fans here. And feel free to engage in the comments. I'll be connecting with you guys. But we're going to take our first break now, and I'll catch you on the other side.